Hello, I'm Caroline Gao, and I am reading pages 291 to 302. Okay, Saturday, February 20th, 2021. The link mentioned here will be included in the video description. Monday, March 8, 2021. If you are able, speak and learn how to speak, when to speak and when not to speak, and always speak up even in silence so that existence can hear you. Monday, March 22, 2021. February 22nd, Alice Berlin. Now, sending to Alice by request, and if she is reading this, you inspire me and I love you. Heart. And also to Leandro Top, whose film External connects us even further. External. Link in description. The color of pomegranates. Link in description. At this point in time, it seems I'm postulating to you what I would compare as gravitational fields of mass to gravitational fields of significance. The more impact and influence a particle or collective item has, events are guided towards it like a magnetic gravitational field, or black hole, of significance. And these significant funk particles cause reality to do what it does, whenever, wherever, and however they resonate within and without whoever or whatever. June 12, 2022. Committing conventional margination. Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. Now sending by request to Eric Carofino. Thank you for your support and validation. That's what I've been doing all these years. Carries the inspiration I always hoped to inspire. Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. Now sharing with Scott White and the listeners of the Burt Reynolds and Charles Bronson podcast. Thanks again for having me on. Wednesday, July 28th, 2021. Many things has happened since I last updated this, so at the moment I'm going to share in a manner of random order and attempt to discuss all the things I put aside as notes to put here when I had the time over the past few months. Pod Save the People, link in description. Intersectionality Matters, link in description. Be Antiracist, link in description. March 25, 2023, more podcasts I'm going through or have finished. Philosophize This, link in description. BBC Heart and Soul, link in description. Mufti Menk, link in description. Krishna Mercies, link. The Zao, link. Buddhism Guide, link. Cup of Tao, link. Walking the Timeless Way, link. The Jungian Life, link. The Sikh Renaissance, link. Jainism For Everyone, link. Theosophy Talks, link. Baha'i Blogcast, link. Natural Born Alchemist, link. The Nietzsche Podcast, link. Theory and Philosophy, link. History of Philosophy Without Any Gaps, link. The Panpsycast, link. June 22nd, 2024, and some more. Unorthodox, link. Posthumanism and Technology, link. Revolutionary and Ideology, link. Buddha at the Gas Pump, link. Jungianthology Radio, link. How many particles does it take for an onion to become an apple? Or plasma to become the last remaining atom of a fully aged shirt button worn by a doll from 1862 to its last identifier decayed particle matter or transfer of energy in time and space, or a blood cell at X point in time and place and the movement of a second hand on a wristwatch from 45 to 46. How many ways can you morph one thing or moment into another? Infinitely. Real or not? Will it always make sense or work? Not to the perceiver, but everything must be experienced while processing through the funk. The true and the false. The yin and the yang. And us observing and influencing it all. And sometimes the lack of. When we can change an apple to an onion through animation, thought, virtual reality, or beyond, who can argue that with infinite time, eventually an apple could be able to become an onion when closer observing and investigating what funk really is? The funk is a collection of everything working together, by choice or not, to be present, while expanding beyond. Relativity, subjectivity, perspective, light, being, preservation, conservation, and the inevitability of entropy and entaxy. When truth is challenged, you should never lie to those you love and care for. but lying to your oppressor can sometimes be reasonable or justifiable. And then how do we rehabilitate oppression offenders? It does not illustrate. It is the sensation of its own realization. Generic space, a loose gravitation comparable to mythology itself, which also has no center of gravity. Sai Twomby. Link in description. Men, XY, come from woman, XX, come from funk, FU. The funk is pure, they, and more to come. Some species of funk produce males seasonally, and only for mating, and asexual species can simply do it themselves. The whole spectrum of sex and gender, whatever species, are microchromosomes and beyond of funk. YouTube link in description. Little tiny filaments of vibrating energy in different vibrations of these strings like entity, and they play corresponds to the different particles making up the wall. So everything is united under what music these strings can play. Anything and everything is a score played out on the harmonies of these fundamental strings of funk. It's a support, thrilling and edgy anticipation of funk. Monday, April 18, 2022. I currently considered that I was trying to ask the universe what this meant, like typing it into Google, and the suggestion would somehow pull up the answer. Which you will experience the future events of that universal Google I've made, the funk. And the information that the funk has provided me currently is that I was trying to Google the feeling of synchronicity that I am feeling currently and you are experiencing now until your current time here at the time you are currently experiencing this very moment. As there is always more context to story of information, there is always more funk to existence. June 12, 2022. As you can see here, Ikazarpok was a placeholder set in motion to inspire and reach the understanding of malorigination. So as not to be confused between the two, malorigination is the funk pull influence towards an event, thing, being, etc. So Ikazarpok would be when you feel the funk before in the moment of an event. That goosebumps or tingle feeling during random moments of reality, or when you're in a flow state and can feel it. Or when you get the feeling of, I belong here at this moment. March 25, 2023. To feel the experience of synchronicity. June 22, 2024. I am about to wrap up the 4th edition of another 4 edit of this treatise. This round took me from January 2024 until now, where I fixed a lot of grammatical errors and made a formatting a lot more consistent. And at the same time, rewrote and transferred the entire document word by word to a Google Doc that could be shared and edited for peer review. I wasn't quite sure where I was going to leave this last insert, so I used a random number generator and suggested I start here. The final things I would like to add for my phone before I wrap up this latest edition are as follows. Dreaming. Thought is the limited, unlimited view of space-time. If you were to look outwards, eyes open, depending on your perspective, the obstacles in your field of view, and your ability to view, how far could your eyes see through time and space? They can see stars. Now close your eyes and see. How far and long can you view? When your eyes are closed and you are looking with your mind, there are no obstructions that it has not created itself and could not exist beyond. Loki. Phenomena. When you are showing someone something or doing an activity, and suddenly you can't do it, or it isn't working. Or when you just had something, whether an object or thought, and suddenly it isn't there to be found. Taishi. Phenomena. When you achieve or accomplish something really lucky or extremely rare. Civility is not polarity. The economy is made up. It does not support humanity as a design to support the ability to profit from others. We must rebuild the entire ship as rearranging the furniture isn't enough to stop it from sinking. Link in description. By cultivating attitudes of friendliness towards the happy, compassion for the unhappy, delight in the virtuous, and disregard towards the wicked, the mind stuff retains its undisturbed calmness. The Yoga Sutras of Panpsycast. Reading Godot by Samuel Beckett in relation to the Myth of Sisyphus by Albert Camus. When you realize reality is meaningless, your options are 1. Suicide. 2. Distraction. 3. Denial. 4. Be an actor. 5. Be another kind of artist. 6. Get political. 7. Acceptance. One either needs romanticism because they are looking for someone of struggling forward towards the new and better things, or because they are weary and want to put an end to all their struggling. Nietzsche. Of course. Don't apologize for someone else mistaking your passion as insanity. This will happen as you shed your ego. Find authenticity over approval. Courage in your conviction. Misunderstanding is inevitable as you find inner fulfillment. You will not always be able to perceive the impact of your actions and being. So do still have compassion for your critics. Because self-realization, once attained, continues even after destruction of the body. Antiracist. Samhita. Funk is permanently impermanent. Everything exists, changes, and is destroyed. That is the nature of everything. Nothing is permanent. Antiracist Samhita. Criticism is futile because it puts a person on the defensive and usually makes him to strive to justify himself. Criticism is dangerous because it wounds a person's precious pride, hurts their sense of importance, and rouses resentment. Dale Carnegie. I shall pass this way but once. Any good, therefore, I could do, or any kindness that I could show to any human being, let me do it now. Let me not defer nor neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again. Dale Carnegie. Wednesday, July 28, 2021. You shouldn't blindly point blame to one side or the other, as they are of the same whole. You cannot stop at a point on a circle of two equal but different sides and say, this half is the cause of your problems. June 12, 2022, unless it is. Consider a saucer balanced on a pole. Depending on where it was, a piece of saucer could be missing and it could still be balanced, yet more unstable as if it were completely whole. Raising taxes for the wealthy and lowering taxes for the working class are a temporary solution. As classes balance out, so do the tax level. What conservative means, and the difference between conservation, selfish hoarding, or splitting the use of resources. Everyone who can hear or read or understand and interpret what I'm currently saying should be able to, or at least partially remember this sentence and this moment in space-time, because of how it's presented, processed, or acknowledged. After witnessing or experiencing the previous sentence, and also this one, and the next, and all and everything within and without the entire funk together at whatever point, you will forever know it happened, even if you are misremembering exactly how it went or didn't understand it. This moment can be shared at every moment as long as we have moments to share, but some information is lost between vessels and particles or saved in other ways that alter or corrupt the funk, until time reaches a point where the funk is able to reach itself after experiencing more or less than an infinite amount of itself. All things are possible through the funk, but some funk is unable to do things presently until we is all eventually able. If A results in B, and B results in C to infinity, then infinity is the result of A. Additionally, A, B, C, etc. are A equals A1, A2, A3, etc. to infinity. But what is A, B, or C a result of, or even for? The ones who profit from the way things are will oppose future possibilities. For example, the industry behind airplanes and trains would oppose teleportation. Fact and fiction are both forms of reality. Tuesday, December 7th, 2021. I feel the need to apologize for my absence of being present with you lately, reader, as I have not attributed to this as often as I feel I should. Though in your eyes on these pages, it is immediately following the last entry, but on my end, months have passed since I've returned to this communication. I have mixed feelings, as in this time between I have felt the urge to continue adding to this transfer of information, and I potentially could have done so, but I was having difficulties processing the information to you. I'm sure some would argue between it being more effective to archive personal data, e.g. live feed, all out at the time, while you are remembering experiencing it, and then go back and edit or take time to process it and attempt to communicate with more time and experience upon everything. And truth lies within and beyond both. As I've many times attempted to describe before, everything exists within a spectrum, and they are all beyond infinite sides of an absolute. Even to simplicity, the binary of off and on, a result of more than off and on and 1 and 2, and there is all the between and beyond. And even when one or the other is reduced to itself, there is the construction of one, and the absence of one, and again and all, and beyond nothing, and what it does, or does not exist within. But, to return from digression, allow me to attempt to fill in the gaps as we continue across time. In this timeline, there are many distractions from being able to focus on something or anything too long. Even as I type this, multiple screens compete for my attention, and beyond these screens, the events of daily life, physically, socially, etc., and then attempting to describe it all to another source of memory. Even if I do it correctly, there is still how it will be received, much like the game Telephone, where you pass information from one player to the next down a line of players. The likelihood of it becoming a different message, going from one person to another, is always present. So how do I best increase those odds of successfully transferring? Trial, error, refinement, repeat, etc.? Or would it break the rules to simply communicate to everyone the message? And if someone clearly doesn't understand, how could we best communicate a group interpretation? Philosophize This. Highly recommend this one. Link in description. Monday, April 18th, 2022. As I previously postulated for years ago to me, but pages ago for you, that we as human are choosing and constructing these moments together and have been for thousands to millions of years of evolution, have evolved to this, the moment where we can decide, live action feed, what to do in the environment of no or greater control. So the more you experience this moment, Monday, April 18, 2022, across time, both the one I am experiencing currently in relay, as my artist image to you in this moment of now, a later version of Monday, April 18, 2022, and you are first again experiencing this moment from Monday, April 18, 2022. And again on this page. We brought this moment together individually in university. Separate, yet a part of the same experience and current or future reality that the funk has us experiencing. And I guess the funk is bringing us here at this moment to connect you, this experience that you're now transferring into and out of every moment. We each want to be loved as who or what we want to be loved as, and you are transferring into that moment again. Monday, April 18, 2022. Goodbye for now. Hello to now. Go be your now. Thanks for being here. I love you. Remember, this love is there for you, whether I or this moment of funk we are branching from in time, space, reality, and beyond, are here or not. I am currently partially experiencing now, and then indirectly and directly transferring it to you and beyond these moments, and you will understand it in ways that are currently learning it to be as you perceive it, and as you continue to perceive it, or not, as yourself and the funk we all experience, the funk ourselves. The funk is what reality exists within, and what existence is created from. What will you be? What will we be? By choice, ability, fate, and with whatever the present or future funk provides you, I or us, with or without. predetermined, free will, and beyond within superposition and beyond. The funk is thankful, reliant, and determined for your existence, and is always there with you to see what it can or can't currently connect with you or without, carviniastically and maluinetically. What will be, and what isn't will eventually become. Just so be your best being you can be, and become what we be, and will go beyond being. Right or wrong, things are most likely moving forward and looking backwards, as the funk always will forever, and in some occasions outside of this one, theoretically never happen. We are experiencing the funk right now, and the future funk will be doing the same in whatever form these evolutionary moments through time results in. Today, Monday, April 18th, 2022, and every moment before it, and now, up to now, and every now again, after we experience and beyond, has resulted in these current and superpositionally forever transferring moments into all of our future and beyond, every Carvanical sequence, and you are now creating and continuing these results of our collective funk reality. So, I love you here, there, and everywhere. Until next Monday, April 18th, 2022. Love you from before and beyond these pages of thoughts, words, and experiences. Future, present us. Let us know what to do and what we did and why, how, whenever we are ready. April 21, 2022. Outplays and ended as I typed the last digits of the previous sentence. Aftermath plays, followed by segment 3 of Listen. October 9, 2022. Warning. These words and other sources will potentially lead you to, and at times, away from the meaning of life, reality, existence, and beyond. This is irreversible. Thank you for stopping by. What else would you like to do today? Legacy plays. Okay, that was a long read. 22 minutes long. Wow. I feel like confession time. I decided to read ahead of time 3 pages of my assigned reading, but at some point stop, and I decided to let's see what spontaneity comes out of it. And if I can honestly process my thoughts now about this, I definitely had some fun reading it. I had fun trying to pronounce like some of the big words. And I don't know if I personally connect to the idea of the funk quite yet, at least. But there are some like moving ideas in the piece, and I'm trying to look for them now. And yeah, I like the idea of funk particles doing whatever it can, however they resonate within or without whoever or whatever. I like this paragraph about starting with how many particles does it take for an onion to become an apple or plasma. The funk is a collection of everything working together. It's pretty old idea, but I suppose pretty classical. The idea that everything is connected. And there are some ideas that feel at the moment underdeveloped, like these are good quotes, like, when truth is challenged, you should never lie to those you love and care for, but lying to your oppressors can sometimes be reasonable or justifiable, and then how do we rehabilitate oppression offenders? Interesting idea there, but obviously I guess you can't get into it. And I do like it when the story is getting into these real descriptions, like, the idea of what particle does it take for an onion to become an apple. I could, picture it, and Sorry for the long pause, I'm just looking. Obviously, I don't have the full context, but I'm definitely interested in, because I've only read the last 10 pages, obviously a lot of connections been built with the reader already. And yeah, so currently right now I think I get the sense in the last page that there's a sense of connection to the reader and the idea of the idea of forever and future, present us let us know what to do and what we did and why, how, whenever you are ready. And how the funk is always with us. And that's the things just coming out from the top of my head reading this. So, overall, I had a fun time reading it. Whether I exactly connected with the subject, I can't say. I feel ambivalent, and I don't know if it's my own mood or the piece itself, to be honest.